United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let the record show everyone is present for the meeting. Can I get a motion and a second on the consent agenda?
I'll second it.
Schultz. Any discussion? Okay. We'd like to welcome Mitch Shea and look forward to a lot of more action and I guess situation. Don't be afraid to reach out and try to get you going as best we can.
Very good, thank you.
I think everybody's looking forward to it. And, hoping for great things to come from it. So, again, welcome. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes. Motion and a second to approve and sign proclamation designating the month of April 2021 as Child Abuse Prevention Month.
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes. So I will read the proclamation. Pot County Board of Supervisors proclamation, Child Abuse Prevention Month, April 2021. Whereas nationally it is estimated that more than 1,540 children die each year from child abuse and neglect. And whereas both locally and nationally, child abuse is considered to be one of the most serious public health problems, with scientific studies documenting the link between the abuse and the neglect of children in a wide range of medical, emotional, psychological, and behavioral disorders. And whereas promoting family functioning and resiliency, social support systems, concrete supports, nurturing and attachment, and knowledge of parenting and child development are all known protective factors which prevent child maltreatment and help strengthen families. And whereas child abuse prevention is an acknowledged community responsibility, on behalf of the Iowans children this month and every month, we join Promise Partners to commit to prevent child abuse and neglect and to ensure a great childhood for every child. Therefore, we, the Pot County Board of Supervisors, do hereby proclaim April 2021 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Pot County, Iowa, and encourage all citizens, community agencies, religious organizations, medical facilities, and businesses to partner in efforts to prevent child abuse and neglect and thereby strengthen the communities in which we live. In witness whereof, I have caused my signature, but the board's signatures and seal Pot County, Iowa to be affixed this 30th day of March 2021. So, do you want this, Jesse, I assume, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Melvin, did this require a roll call?
It's a resolution, yeah.
So
Oh,
when
it's
we,
a resolution?
Yeah, you just read it.
It's a proclamation.
Proclamation, all
So I
right.
called the vote and we all said aye.
yeah, I just saw it was written in red on her.
Oh, okay.
That's why I was asking.
Does it require?
No, it doesn't. I was thinking, I was just,
I wouldn't
with
have
all the
thought so.
whereases, I was thinking resolution.
Sign that. Have everybody sign that. I wouldn't think proclamations would require a roll
No,
call.
I just, on our screen,
No,
it just says the red.
yeah.
No, you put that on there, but unless you want to call a roll call just for affirmation and
I don't know.
show.
I think we're all right.
Okay.
Do you have anything you want to add?
The sheriff said he had anything you want to add. Well, I just
just want to thank you for your support. Thank you for wearing your shirts today. And Supervisor Wickman, I want to compliment you on your tie. It's a perfect match.
Well, do you want to sign that?
We will be putting a pinwheel display around one of the trees in the front of the courthouse
Okay.
for the month of April.
And hopefully, depending on which way the wind blows, we'll see.
You know, they stayed up a few years ago, I put it up and it was fine.
The last two, yesterday and today, it's really something. So do you want this, or are you guys gonna take a picture or anything at all?
I think we'd love a picture if you'll let us.
Well, we're not opposed to it, I don't think.
All right, let's do it. Anybody want to go up? Or get you, maybe we should get you guys?
Yeah, you guys wanna come, you guys wanna come up here and,
You want me to take it?
That'll work.
I'm sure somebody can take it. You could be in
I
the
think,
picture.
What's that?
I said somebody can take it. You can be in the picture
Yeah,
too.
thank you.
Down there?
Kind of.
Can we distance it or?
Well, we can. We did this recently and if you kind of do like a triangle.
Okay, okay.
I don't know how far up we can get though.
Jesse, you wanna hold that?
I can?
Here, Jesse, if you want to come up here.
Oh, boy, okay. Front and center.
Yeah, why not?
Nobody sees who I am with the mask, right?
That's right. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Scott, move this way just a little bit.
Smile.
Yeah, smile.
There you go.
You can tell, right?
I took a couple.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Yeah, it looked like it. Yeah, I'm going hunting with my grandkids tonight.
Good. Flip the page. That's where it is. Switch the paper saver, my buddy Andrew. Public hearing, discussion regarding compensation board's recommendation for elected officials for fiscal year 2021, 2022, and discussion regarding the Pot County budget for fiscal year 2021, 2022. Motion to open public hearing.
So move. Second.
Okay. Supervisor Shea, Supervisor Schultz, thank you. Okay, public hearing. Anyone here?
We need a roll call. Need a roll call.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Chairman Bell,
Aye.
Supervisors Groby,
Aye.
Wickman,
Aye.
Schultz,
Aye.
and Shea.
Aye.
Okay, a public hearing is now open. Any discussion? Vicki, you want to give us our stuff there?
You want the hard copies of the budget?
No, I think, I'd take one anyway.
I would too.
Yeah, I sent them in your email this morning, but that's fine.
Thank you.
Yeah, and,
This has all the guts and stuff, even though you don't
get some good
care
prayer.
about them.
Yeah.
Maybe this one. Not
So-
the other one.
I mean, for this piece of it though, right, we're just talking the salary actions and compensation for the board.
Well, the public hearing is set, this is for both the public hearing for the compensation and for the budget.
Yeah, we should.
Well, it'll be separate votes, but you'll
Right.
have both in one public hearing.
Both in one public hearing.
Yeah.
So, is there any discussion, anybody on there?
The final compensation board recommendation was?
It was,
2.5.
2.5%.
2.5%.
Okay.
And the budget, you know, we're lowering,
The mill levy?
the levies on 2 of the funds and remaining the same on the rural fund. I think, you know, this was we're we're in the middle of a pandemic and, we're still dealing with the flood of 19 and, what's that correct word? Derecho? And, you know, we got monies that are out there that we haven't received, and we got other monies that we're gonna receive. We just don't know how tight the package is gonna be wrapped and how we're gonna be able to use those monies and funds. And I think, you know, we spent a lot of time and, I guess a lot of discussion. And, I think it's, for this year, it's a good budget, and I think we're on a path to continue to, reduce the levy and get us on a path for, growth and expansion in the county too. So there's a lot of things going on, that looks good going forward in the years to come. So, I don't know if anybody else got anything they want to add in that regards?
Yeah, I got a couple things I just want to say. I mean, when you think about what it took to do this budget, I mean, beyond the pandemic and, you know, the natural disasters and just everything we've been dealing with over the last couple of years and getting to this point, you know, we as a board had to do some very creative budgeting to make this work. And, you know, growth is always one of those things you don't really know. You plan on it and you hope for it, and if it doesn't show up, then you really got to get extra creative. And I think in this case, we went above and beyond that. You know, we had some transition with our budget director, and Becky Lynn had stepped up and helped us get this thing in order. And so when you look at the bigger picture here, you know, we've really accomplished something really good. And, you know, in the eyes of financial world, we're probably sitting in one of the best budgets we've ever had financially. I mean, you look at, you know, our credit rating is really good. Our growth has been pretty good. We're still working on giving our employees raises. You know, we're still, you know, doing economic development. We've invested in our parks. We've invested in roads, a lot of other areas. And this has been super challenging, but, you know, I want to credit the board and our department heads and everyone that was involved in making this thing happen. I want to just say thanks for that, because we can't do this without you. And really, you know, to echo what Scott said about, you know, continuing this on in the future, you know, we're on the path to doing that. We're on a path where
You are currently.
in a few years, we're going to be able to continue these successes. So that's really all I want to say, other than just thank you all for your help with getting there.
It was a tough budget.
Thanks, Becky, for all your work.
Let's see if there's anybody on the phone. I forgot to dial in earlier. If there's any public dialing in for the public hearing.
Anybody on the phone? Okay.
We'll be getting more calls later today, I'm sure.
Well, as you got that email, that's two sides of this, is the assessment side, which we don't get to control.
Correct.
And some notices went out this week from the assessor. So that is some, I guess, education that will need to be done probably. And when you get those calls, I think you know how to handle those. And she sent some information to use for those assessments, because even though the environment is somewhat strange, I guess, in this time, as we're all wearing masks here and sitting and having this meeting, the housing market just seems to be going through the roof, and the rates are still very good. And they got the Suez Canal open back up, so we're gonna
Think
start.
that guy kept his job?
Well, I don't know. We're gonna start seeing if this growth mode's gonna continue. It sure seems like it's.
They said they were.
Looks that way, that it's gonna be continued for growth, for at least for our county. And we really need to, and we're working on it pretty hard, I think, to get housing here. They call it workforce housing, or They have a study that they did for Pot County, which we're gonna probably, hopefully, sit down and have some discussions about and get some more. We really need to get the population to grow in Pot County. It's been stagnant for many years. I think there's a lot of opportunity, like I said, for some growth in Pot County, and we have a lot to offer. So I take a motion in a second to close public hearing.
Make the motion.
I'll second it.
Supervisor Schultz. Okay, roll call.
Chairman Belt,
Aye.
Supervisors Groby,
Yes.
Wickman,
Aye.
Schultz,
Aye.
and Shea.
Aye.
Okay.
One question I'm
Yeah.
gonna have with Becky. Becky, when we did the budget, on the wall there, and you put all these numbers in, nothing changed, right? The rural's staying the same and the general's going down 15 cents? That's correct, right?
Yes.
I don't see where it shows that on here anywhere, it does it, right?
Shows what?
The levy.
The levy rate's on page 4.
There it
The
is.
general's going down
The general went down, what, 5
and
cents?
supplemental's going down 10.
That's the 15.
Yes, correct.
That's the
Okay.
general.
Well, general supplemental. Yeah,
It's the tax that everybody pays.
right, exactly.
Okay, just wanna make sure that's correct.
Okay, so now, approval of resolution 25-2021 regarding Pot County. No, that isn't the one I want.
Page 3, I think, so where I am.
Okay,
That's the comp board recommendation.
yeah, it's not in, a motion and a second to approve and authorize the board to sign board resolution 2421 regarding compensation board's recommendation for elected officials for fiscal year 2021-22. Resolution number 2421 is laid out as follows.
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Seconded by- Any discussion?
What resolution are you voting on right now?
2421, the
Compensation.
compensation board.
We did the public hearing for that.
Yeah,
They were
just did
combined.
it.
Okay.
Okay, roll call?
Chairman Belt, Supervisors Wickman,
Sure.
Groby,
Aye.
Schultz,
Aye.
Shea.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Okay, second, approval of resolution 2521 regarding Pot County budget fiscal year 2021-22.
I'll make the motion to approve. I'll second it.
Discussion?
I have a message here from Becky Bell. She says, "Great job to all."
Okay, tell her thank you.
They haven't voted on it yet.
That was a budget going.
We're lowering the mill, that's good.
Yeah.
We lowered, and I think we're on a track to keep going, to lower that and do some other infrastructure improvements and try to keep the growth going too.
Yeah, I think that's the key, is the growth. As long as we can maintain that growth, we're gonna be in a position where we can continue to
That
do
and
that.
get more people to Pot County.
Yeah.
Grow the tax base and grow the population both. I mean,
Yep.
those are two important things. And get, any other discussion? Roll call?
Chairman Belt,
Aye.
Supervisors Wickman,
Aye.
Groby,
Aye.
Schultz,
Aye.
and Shea.
Aye.
Okay. Moving right along here, Matt Wyatt, Planning and Zoning Director, and Pam Falstaff, Acting Director, Discussion and decision to approve second consideration of ordinance 2021-03 entitled an ordinance providing for the division of tax levy on taxable property in Pot County Industrial Park Urban Renewal Area pursuant to section 403.19 of the Iowa Code and to adopt ordinance number 21-03 into law.
I'll move that for you, Chairman.
You want to move that?
I'll
Supervisor
second.
Wickman, thank you. Seconded by Supervisor Schultz, thank you. Matt, you want to, Pam, Matt, you guys want to speak a little bit about that, or?
This is the final step on the ordinance piece to the Armstrong development that will be off of 192nd Street. And soon we'll be bringing in the amended developers agreement to go back over, but everything is moving along on it and we'll be excited to see it happen.
Is he, are we looking at probably this fall? Did we do the bid for the road and stuff already?
We're under contract for the roads,
Have they,
so we'll be starting this spring.
they'll be starting soon? And they're expected to be done
Would hope we'd be out of there by July.
by July, you think?
I hope so.
Okay. Who ended up getting that?
Oh geez.
The Bluffs,
Yeah, plus baby.
Bluffs paving?
Bluffs
Okay.
paving.
Okay. Okay, any other, no, this is another, project, that we were fortunate enough to, I guess, work through and with the city and get this is much needed, type of, development for contractors and to keep growth going and such, so,
The city partnered with us on it, Advanced Southwest Iowa helped partner with us on this. Jason Armstrong, the developer, has been great to work with. He was very patient through the process because we went after a RISE grant and they were able to obtain that RISE grant. So a portion of 192nd Street is going to be upgraded along with the new interior roads that will be going into the development. So it'll be a nice improvement really on both sides because the city, the opposite side of the road is the city of Council Bluffs. So they're gonna get the benefit of an upgraded 192nd Street, and then we will have the benefit of the industrial development going in, 14 lots. Some of them which have already sold, people have plans to put their buildings up as soon as they can. So we'll have at least a good jump start to it.
well, and with all the discussion of infrastructure and infrastructure money and such, it'd be interesting to see if we can do, I guess, more of these projects if the market, demands it and partner up and such, so that's probably the biggest hurdle that we have is, sewer and water and proper roads for growth, so that and broadband seems to be, we talked about that for 10 years and now it's finally, maybe it takes 10 years to get all this done, so. Any other discussion?
Yeah, Matt, is Jason's contract complete, or are we amending that?
We're gonna amend it
Okay, when's that gonna come?
the 13th.
Thank you.
Okay, any other, okay, roll call?
Chairman Belt,
Aye.
Supervisors Grilby,
Aye.
Wickman,
Aye.
Schultz,
Aye.
Shay.
Aye.
Okay, public hearing, first consideration of ordinance 2021-02, an ordinance to amend the official zoning map of Pot County, Iowa by changing the district designation of approximately 5 acres from Class A2 agricultural production to a Class C1 highway commercial district and setting date for second consideration. Need a motion, motion to open public hearing.
I'll second it.
Supervisor Wickman, Supervisor Schultz. Okay, we have the public hearing open. Any,
So, I'll start off, the Buckinghams are here today, and it looks as though Craig has a pretty good presentation to give you all on what they have been able to accomplish out there. with that, Craig came to us in, I believe it was around 2016, at the time when we were looking to be a little bit more creative in Potawatomi County on how do we encourage activities just like what he had proposed with the Palace at that time, because everybody knows in Mills County, they have a couple different venues down there. A lot of our residents were going down there for weddings and meetings and all different kinds of things. And we just did not have, Potawatomi County just did not have that type of venue out there for someone. So Craig and his wife had come up with a plan for the Palace, and I've been out there to a meeting. It is an extremely nice place to host something like that. What they were able to do with that old barn and create a space as they have with the parking area right off the highway has been fabulous. And I think they've been very successful at it. It wasn't without challenges that we found along the way. One of them being that I think at the time when he went to go get power, Mid-American Energy wasn't sure if they were going to be able to supply him enough power and things for out there. So there were those different caveats that came with it, but they made it all the way through and have done something that's really nice and is a benefit to the county out there. And I think what they have been proposing here is just only going to enhance what they have going on out there. So I'll turn it over to Craig and let him speak to it.
We're gonna take 2 42-foot Sukup grain bins and make it into hotel rooms, basically, is what we're shooting for. It's kind of preliminary or whatever, but this is kind of what we're shooting to do. It'll be just 2 42-foot grain bins with a lobby in the center where you come in the doors, and we're going to start out just renting it to the people from the Palace that have weddings there. That's how we're going to kind of start out, see how things are going. We've talked to a lot of our brides, and I think we'll probably book them up every Friday and Saturday we got a wedding or a Sunday.
Cool.
How many rooms do you got? We'll have on the bottom. You'll come in the lobby, and you'll be able to have access to the very first floor. 2 will be ADA accessible, and then you'll be able to go up to the center of the stairs to the second level. I got them all mixed up. You'll be able to go up the stairs and then have access in the center of each room, and then continue up to the stairs. Now the third level will have, on one bin will have 2 rooms in it, and the other bin will have the bridal suite. It'll be just all open, windows all the way around. We put balconies on it for the aesthetics, just to make it look like a grain bin more. There won't be any way you go out on the balconies, because we don't want people out on balconies. We want them locked in the room when they're in the room. But like I said, we'll have 11 rooms. I think we'll pretty much, anytime we have a wedding, because they can walk 200 feet to the hotel instead of getting in a car driving to Council Bluffs. I know that doesn't help Council Bluffs, but, you know.
Ooh, hotel motel tax.
Well, that's a good question.
We don't have one.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
We'd have to implement if we're gonna put something out. Yeah.
I mean, is that?
For another day.
Is it
I
considered?
know.
Is that considered, is that how they consider that, as a hotel or motel? I mean, is that what the state considers?
Correct,
that?
that's what he was proposing.
Pardon?
That's what he is proposing, yes.
Okay.
So you want to give me a hotel tax? Let's see. I guess how I want to put it, I can't even think how I wanted to say it. I was gonna make a smart remark.
Okay.
Mine
was just a smart remark too, Craig.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's gonna be a really neat project. It's gonna be
Really neat
unique in the
venue.
fact that people will be able to come out. I think we're gonna draw even farther than what we're drawing. I mean, we're drawing Lincoln, Grand Island, Des Moines. We're already pulling a lot of people in. I think we'll go farther. I think the idea of people coming out and being able to stay in a grain bin you know, kinda, because it's gonna look like a grain bin, but yet inside it'll look, we're gonna take our palace look inside our palace, move it to the grain bin inside, but the outside is gonna look like a grain bin.
Will it say Sukup on the side?
Yep, it'll say,
That'd be wrong.
we just pulled a picture off the internet of something that it has nothing to do, I don't even know where that's at or nothing, but we, after we got our architect started on it, then we found that, and we thought, you know, it's just kinda unique, it's just, we're gonna set off to the side of the barn and, to give us something that,
That should be your next house.
the barn I thought was gonna be our house, cause if it didn't make it, it's got heated floors in it and air conditioning. I mean, I thought the barn would be our house, but, it's gotten so successful that I don't think we'll ever live there, so.
If a kid gets out of line, how do you tell him to go stand in the corner?
I don't.
I think you lost it somewhere.
There's a basketball floor. Is it Iowa or Iowa State that's a Sukup? I think it's Iowa.
State's got it,
Is it Iowa State?
yeah. Well, even on the
Oh, wow, that's
football, the Jack Trice or whatever on their clubhouse, it's got a
That's just
Sukup.
Okay, well, it might be a draw for the cyclone plans too.
Okay, so we need
So-
motion to approve?
Well, I got a, public hearing, we're in the public hearing right
Okay.
now.
It'd be 3 stories, but.
So, Matt, is that something then that you have to inspect on an annual basis then, I take it?
We won't inspect it we inspect it if they have swimming pools. We don't
Okay.
inspect them on an annual basis. We'll inspect it during the construction project phase of it.
It'll
And
be 3 stories.
then a continuation of the palace for their conditional use permits that they have out there. But the rezoning of this really then helps fit in the hotel idea onto the property. So the proposal is that they cut out 5 acres of ground around the palace. The bins would sit on that 5 acres, and then that makes it legal through our zoning ordinance to have that, because it does adjoin the highway. It's right where it needs to be.
And if you'd like to pave my driveway, I'd be happy, unless you come out that far.
So we're off the state highway, right? 92, right?
I don't know, too.
Will you be coming back for another grain bin too?
You know, you never know. I'm actually gonna put the bigger septic system in than what they're gonna require, just in case somewhere down the line. And maybe they won't let me, I don't know. It's tough getting through these two. I mean,
Okay.
That's really neat.
Yeah, it's a nice project and, hopefully many years of success.
I'll move to close public hearing.
Okay,
Second.
thank you. Thank you, Supervisor Schultz. Okay, roll call?
Chairman Belt,
Aye.
Supervisors Groby,
Yes.
Wickman, Schultz, and Shea.
Okay, now we need a motion, a second to approve first consideration of ordinance 2021-02, an ordinance to amend the official zoning map of Pot County, Iowa by changing the district designation of approximately 5 acres from a Class A2 agricultural production to Class C1 highway commercial district and setting date for second consideration for April 6th, 2021 at 10 a.m.
So moved. I'll second.
Okay, Shay, motion, second, Schultz. Any discussion? Roll call?
Chairman Belt,
Aye.
Supervisors Groby,
Yes.
Wickman,
Yeah.
Schultz,
Aye.
and Shea.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a neat venue.
we're hoping so. We're going in the idea that it's gonna be very successful for many years.
Good for you.
Okay, up now, we got Jason Slack, Director of Buildings and Ground, discussion or decision to approve CRC 027R bullet resistant panels credit.
Jason, where was this?
This was in community services reception area.
Okay.
Since everybody was going through screening, We found that the bullet-resistant panels were superfluous, and that's why we took them off for credit.
Is that your recommendation?
It is, yeah.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so we got a motion by Supervisor Wickman, second by Supervisor Shea. Is it gonna be, just open then for the receptionist, or are they putting in glass, or?
The bulletproof panels were actually going into the walls. You wouldn't see them.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So does she have a glass
Yeah.
set up there?
they will, yes.
So it's just going from the glass below, or whatever?
Yeah, it didn't really make a lot of sense because we weren't ballistic anywhere else. And
Wow.
people are being screened before they go in there, so we had it removed.
I think that's like this desk up here. I think there's some bulletproof stuff along here.
There is on the two sides, there isn't in the center.
You sure they didn't do some, pull some of the panels out? Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign.
Jason, before you go, there was some discussion the last time you were in here on when we denied some of those change orders.
Yeah.
There were a couple that you were looking at trying to get denied or shut down as well.
Yes,
Were you able to get any of that done?
yes, we were able to deny everything.
When are you gonna come back and give us that information? Next Tuesday?
Sure.
All right, thank you very much for that. Okay, I don't have anything else.
What, did we get some temporary COs then?
We did. We got temporary COs for basement, first and second floors B-wing.
Okay, thank you. Oh, just one, were you pushing or somebody pushed the wrong button this morning when the fire,
Yes.
okay. Okay. Okay, next up, David Bear, CIO, discussion and decision to approve quote for funding for furniture for shared conference rooms and break room in B-wing. Okay.
Good morning. So we've been, as a furniture committee, we've been working hard on selecting furniture for the various conference rooms and the break room. We listened to 2 presentations and vetted those. We picked the vendor that I think provided the best solution for the rooms and also had a cheaper price. All the furniture is, the chairs all have 300-pound limits. The tables and all the furniture match the decor, gray floor, white walls. We sampled some of the chairs for comfort and ease of use, and I think we've got a good selection here. Just looking for your approval to go forward with that, and also how to pay for it.
David, was this in your budget?
This is not an IT's budget, no. I had come to the board back in the fall or early winter and asked to form a committee, and I was got the approval to do that, and then we were going to come back to you guys for the funding of it. This is, and the only reason I wanted to form a committee was because there was no plan for furniture, and I thought it would be smart to have furniture in those spaces when we open up those spaces. So,
How many different bid people were there?
just 2.
2, Indoff, and who was the other one?
Payless.
Okay. What was their number?
The number was 20,000 something,
Okay.
and this one is 17,341.
And this is just for the common rooms?
Correct. This is for, there's a 4-person conference room,
Right.
an 18-person multi-purpose room, a 12-person conference room, and then a break room on the first floor.
Yeah. For those basically.
For those 4 rooms, yep.
Yeah, those are the ones we named the goldfinch and the such.
Just those three.
Community
Those
services
three
is gonna use that
programs,
conference
logos,
table that's stored.
There's 4.
Say that again?
Community services, are they gonna use that conference table that they have stored in?
They will use for their conference room, yes.
Okay.
Long Road, White Oak, and what was there a fourth?
We had 3 room names. We had Goldfinch, Bur Oak, and
Wild Rose.
Wild Rose.
But
But there's 4 rooms here. We didn't name the break room.
Oh, that's what that is, okay.
Some people
Is that-
furniture, but
Is the break room the smallest? It's not the smallest one though.
IT already pre-
I don't know how many square feet the break room is.
With the 3
It's
tables?
certainly bigger than the 4-person room.
So that's the one with the, looks like the seats 12,
No, there's, let's see here.
isn't it?
It'll seat 12, yep. 3 tables at 4 people each. We'll have 3 round tables. 1 will be tall, 2 will be short. So 1 will be like a coffee shop sized or height table.
What's that, on the 18th person multi-purpose room, what's that cage or wire thing?
That'll be a cable tray. So
Oh,
the
okay.
intent is that those tables will have laptops on them for training
Okay.
purposes. And then, so instead of having the cables running across the floor, they'll land in the tray
Right.
and then go over to the wall. Those tables also will have what they call modesty panels, like these tables have right here. so
Right,
that,
right. Yeah, okay, thank you.
Jason, is there, can we even do that? Never mind. I'll make a motion to approve and fund the furniture out of the gaming revenue.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion by.
They give you a delivery time on that, Jason, or David?
They said it would take about 3 weeks to order it.
This,
And coming out of gaming, okay, that's what we thought it was gonna be, somewhere in that ballpark, so.
and I, we need to log these expenses and we just don't know, like I said earlier, about how tight the bow is gonna be on the package of money. These potentially could be expenses that we get, reimbursed from, some of the funds, so, we just wanna be open to that and with anything else that, and we'll have a discussion later on, I think, next month with all the board, or with all the elected officials and department heads, and hopefully we get some clarity on that. Okay.
Who got the
any
bid?
other discussion?
Payless?
Indoff.
Indoff did, okay.
For $17,341. Includes installation. Okay, no other discussion. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes. Okay, the second one up is, approval and authorize the chairman to sign agreement with Bishop Business for,
Thanks, ladies.
yeah, thank you, for managed print services. I don't know.
So moved.
Okay.
I'll second it. David, you wanna kinda just highlight what's going on here, just so we kinda.
Sure. So last fall, I brought up the idea of having managed print services in one of our department head meetings, and everyone nodding heads, everyone was interested. So we talked to 3 different vendors, brought them in, they did walkthroughs, looked at all the copiers and printers, and then gave us pricing for cost per print, black and white and color. And after all the walkthroughs, after all the meetings, all the conversations, Bishop was the winner. We had a voting process where every department voted for the vendor that they liked best, and we had a point system. The people who printed the most got more votes, the people who printed the least got less votes. Bishop was the winner after all the voting. So then, the benefits of this is essentially We have one vendor that does all printing services for the county. This is copy machines and printers. So that, the benefits to that are we have one contract instead of 20 different contracts. We have one bill instead of 20 different bills. The bill would come in to Andrew, he would slice and dice it like he does the phone bill. And then it would go to the auditor's office for payment. It would come out of everyone's line item. We wouldn't have to submit every department submitting their claims and affidavits every month. It's simplified there. One vendor means we have one, there's a common IT joke that's one throat to choke. So if there's a problem, you don't have to find out which vendor it is. We know the vendor. It's one vendor. It would be Bishop. And there's a significant cost savings, and that's probably what you guys care about the most. The direct savings would roughly be about $3,000 a month, or $40,000 a year, or $200,000 over the 5-year contract. So it's a significant savings, and that's the direct savings. There's also some soft savings. Not having to have everyone send in a claim every month. There's an administrative savings there. For my IT staff, we would be out of the printing business. Everyone would contact Bishop for support or ordering a new printer or problems with a copier, whatever it may be. So that saves the IT staff time. And one contract also saves some administrative time as well. We're also going to be installing some software called PaperCut as part of this, and that will give us a clue into how people print, and we'll know who's printing and how many prints they're doing. And so we'll have a report for each department so that they know who's printing 1,000 color copies a month. And then that department head could go talk to their employee and say what's going on here. So there's a potential for even more savings because it's a cost per print contract. So if we can eliminate some people printing too much or too much color or whatever, so there's a potential to save another 10 or 15% off the top of this. So it's a win-win. Everyone's on board department-wise. Bishop has been around several times to get the final counts, and we'll all be on the same type of copiers, Toshiba, so that's also a benefit as well. We won't have a mixed bag of different types of equipment. So those are the highlights there. I'm certainly willing to answer any other questions you might have.
I'll make a move.
So, we got a motion in a second. Thank you. So, there's a ton of agreements and it looks like leases here. Is that what we're doing, is leasing all this equipment then?
All the equipment will be leased for the duration of the 5-year contract. And then the printers, the HPs that you see around, those will be also managed. That's not part of this. Those will be managed individually by the departments with Bishop. So if a department has 5 printers, let's say, they can decide if they want to put that under maintenance or not. But that's their own decision there.
But I need to sign all these.
Yeah, there's a lot of signatures there.
Is what you're saying.
Yeah.
And then soon you approve of you signing all these, Leanne?
Yes.
So how many of them, I mean, there's printers that we have now that we, I think, and I don't know which departments, that we actually own? Are those going, is someone taking them away?
No, so every department decides how many of their printers they want. If they want a printer on everyone's desk, that's up to them. If they want no printers and just use the copy machine for everything, which is the cheapest, by the way.
Right.
That's up to the department. They decide those things. Certainly it costs more to have more printers, but that's up to every department. Those aren't going away.
No,
So
okay.
if you want to keep that printer there, great.
No, but I mean, okay, the copy machines, some departments own their copy machines, I believe.
Correct. For example, GIS, we own our copy machine.
So is it going away?
It's going away and we're putting in a leased one.
So is Bishop taking those with them, or where are they going?
They are.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, how many of those we got?
I know there's one, I don't know off the top of my head, there's not a lot, maybe 3 or 4.
So going into the B wing, how many new Bishop copiers are we putting in there?
I know, so on the second floor, HR, conservation, and IT are all sharing one.
Okay,
And community services will have one, and 911 will have one.
okay. Okay. Okay, any other?
So David, we'll get a, one bill a month from these people?
Correct.
And it's up to our finance director's department to separate the costs out and bill those departments? Is that what your plan's gonna be?
It's up to, it's Andrew's role, or maybe it would be Mitch's role, I'm not sure who, but Andrew is certainly doing it for the phone bills now. So he would do it also, and he's informed of this, and we've already had conversations about it.
He does the postage too, don't he?
Correct, yep. So this would be very similar to that, where you just slice and dice
Does he
it.
send separate, and I should know, but I don't, does he send separate bills, or can we combine him, say, bill in the department for the phone, the postage, and the printer, or the copier, whichever you wanna call it? All in one bill, I mean,
I think they come at different times,
oh, okay,
so,
And they're different vendors, so.
yeah,
okay.
And maybe different line items, I don't know.
Probably, yes.
Okay, I'm just trying to save some paper, but apparently this.
Well, we're gonna save some paper with this project, certainly.
Okay. Any other discussion, comments? So we're into this for 5 years, right?
Correct.
So I guess whoever's here 5 years from now can reevaluate whether it was a plus or minus decision.
Well, it's gonna save about $200,000, $40,000 a year.
That's what it says.
So we
That's a
hope.
big deal.
Yeah.
And it has,
And
even,
getting everything closer to everybody having the same stuff, it just
Right.
makes a lot of sense, so.
Yep.
and David's staff doesn't have to do
Right.
all of that's the big saving right there, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because we're able to, through this, not hire a person in David's department.
Right.
We're gonna give this a chance this year to see,
How it goes.
so I mean, that's even bigger.
Yeah. That brings up, now that you say that, what did the assessor end up doing?
They're not involved.
Okay, they're not involved. Okay.
We don't want anything to do with the assessor.
We had well, my office had a similar contract several years ago with a company, and the service agreement worked really well. You just call a number and they would come out and fix. Their problem was they didn't give us original equipment. So we dropped that, but if you get the good toner from Bishop, why, it was really worked pretty good.
Does IT, and I think, you service the juvenile detention, right?
We do service them at some level. It's not, we do their phones, and they have Hunt County domain accounts.
Okay.
And we do help with some printer things here and there, but it's not a lot.
Okay.
And they were not part of this as well. They were
Okay.
not.
Okay. Any other discussion? Nope. Okay, hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes. Okay. Thank you, David.
Good job.
Thank you. I guess we're having discussion about people that want to get on. I think you emailed it out to, at least I got it anyway, about executive time and that stuff. So I appreciate you doing the work on that too.
Of course.
Looks like we may have some more solutions to save us some time and money.
Absolutely.
Okay, Jana Limerick, Director HR, and Matt Wyatt, Director of Planning and Zoning, discussion and or decision to approve an authorized chairman to sign staffing service agreement with Camelus. Is that how they say that?
they go by next staff,
Pardon?
they go by next staff.
Okay, doing business as next. path? Okay. Is that the word, Camelus Staffing, Inc.,
Yes.
LLC? Okay. Okay, you want Matt or Jana, who wants to take that away?
I can start real quick. We are looking at this agency to help us provide some nursing staff for these mass vaccination clinics. As we're continuing to ramp up and continuing to get doses of vaccines and having larger clinics, we are needing more help. The staffing agency can provide some nurses to us, RNs or LPNs, depending on what they have. We don't really have the time to hire them ourselves, and then they'd have to go through IPERS and all of that. So this is a good solution for us to help with that. Matt, what would you like to add?
Janice correct in what she says. Our clinics get larger. We're now up to 16 stations down there. It's a requirement of 32 different individuals that can either draw up or dispense vaccine to them as they're coming through. We're starting to kind of hit some of that fatigue on a few people to where the day before or day of, they're calling us saying that they can't make it in, even though that they had planned to. And I think having the staffing agency available to us will help us fill those residual spots that we have open, and potentially, if we get ourselves into a bind where we need one or two more people, they'll be able to shoot them over to us. The prices seemed really reasonable. The company was great. They came down, actually toured the mass vaccine clinic as it was ongoing, so they could see how they operated, where they're operating at, and like I said, we're shooting for the end of May, so hopefully that this will carry us through for the next 2 months and we'll be good.
Shooting for the end of May.
To be done with large mass vaccine clinics.
Oh, really?
There's a potential of 18 more.
Matt, are we getting Johnson & Johnson?
Not anytime soon. So if you look at the state vaccine allocations right now, we sit at #1 in the state for dispensing out of Johnson & Johnson. It was us and Lynn County. We're each given 3,600 doses of it. We've dispensed 599 of those doses. Lynn County's at 35, 24, something like that. So with them giving us so much to begin with and the other counties receiving so little, I think that they're going to backfill some of those other counties before they allocate more to us, even though we could definitely use it. We do have pharmacies in the area who are receiving Johnson & Johnson vaccine from the federal allocation program. And it's small, it's 100 doses here, 100 doses there, but it's helping.
Okay. I'd make a motion to approve their staffing.
Okay, motion by Shay,
I'll second it.
second by Schultz. So if I understood you, this is just gonna be like a 60-day contract? Is that what you're thinking?
I believe the way it's worded, we give them, is it 14 days to terminate? So there is no specific end date.
Okay.
That way, if we end up being done middle of May, it doesn't matter. We're not committed to another couple of weeks.
But we're not committed to any number of persons at this point, right?
Correct.
Right.
So,
As needed?
so these ones listed here, a registered nurse, a licensed practical nurse, certified medical aide, certified nursing assistant, and then residential care assistant. Those are all, I don't know, is it called licensed to give shots or?
No, this is just all that they could provide to.
So which ones, just
So,
these top?
Yep.
The top 3?
The top 2. So we looked into certified medication aid to find out if they could give vaccine. Certified medication aides can give insulin with a shot, and we were thinking that possibly through with all this COVID changes that they did allow them to give vaccines, but it's looking like not. We can't find anything that says for sure that they can, so it'll just be those top 2, registered nurse.
The registered and then the licensed practical nurse?
Yes.
Okay. And then, or they have to be, I don't know what's the proper word, registered, certified in Iowa then?
They have to have a license in Iowa, but Iowa is a compact state, so if you have your license in Nebraska, it counts in Iowa, and vice versa.
Do we have reciprocity with whatever, Kansas, North Dakota, South Dakota also, or not?
I don't know about, I know Minnesota is not one. I don't know all of the states.
Huh.
But the staffing agency will vet all of that out for us.
It'll be a help kind of ongoing in the future for public health as well. We had considered this back in, I think we probably started talking about aligning ourselves with the staffing agency in 2018.
Right.
Just because of the difficulty we were struggling with hiring public health nurses. And some of the positions that we have, you know, are fairly grant-based, and it's hard to bring people on who worry that their job may be over in a year. And so I think this will be kind of a good trial run as well, just to see how well they could potentially support us in the future as we keep moving with public health.
So do you have to call them a day ahead of time, or, I mean, I can imagine they got people just sitting, waiting.
We're gonna do our best to give them as much advance notice as we can, a week to 2 weeks if we can, on being able to pull people in.
Okay. And then, is there, I didn't get through all this, is there a minimum they get?
Like a minimum number of hours to work? No, I think a lot of times people think of agency and staffing nurses as maybe this is a 12-week contract, you're getting 36 hours per week. That's not what this one is. This is a little bit different to provide us, and this company helps with providing your needs as they're needed. It's not a 12-week contract like a lot of hospitals will see that. You have to provide your nurse 12 weeks, a certain number of hours. This is a little bit different from that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they would bill us for just the hours that are actually there?
Correct, they'll send us an invoice.
And we've double checked that those invoices will provide the data that we need to ask for reimbursement, since they won't be going through, Tyler payroll or anything like that.
Do you get your pick of whether you want a registered or a licensed nurse then? Or you just take what they give you, I guess?
Yeah, it depends on what our needs are and how many they have.
Beggars can't be too much choosing.
You kind of get to that point,
Right.
as long as they can give a shot, I mean.
Right.
Roby can give a shot.
Well, it's not supposed to.
Oh, you mean there's rules?
What kind of numbers are you even considering, you think?
So like for this Friday, potentially 6 this Friday and 4 for Saturday.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
And it may end up being a few more depending on, especially with the holiday coming up, a lot of people are really dropping off the radar for this. It's kind of lost its flair. We did it Christmas Eve, everybody wanted to be involved. New Year's Eve, everybody wanted to be involved, but now that we're it's going on, so they want to spend time with their families as well, and I can respect that.
Yeah, we need to have the more bodies to make that thing flow and do it, I guess, as efficient and safely as possible. Okay.
Yeah, Friday we moved up to 2,700, so we're really gonna make sure that we have everything staffed full.
Yeah, I guess I'm guessing this is another one that we can potentially get. I mean, this is as about as COVID related as you can get. Another one we can get some compensation back for, I would guess. And have the documentation and everything for it, so. You got some other.
Yeah, and Matt, depending on how many hours a nurse will put in, we're not required to hire them, right?
No, we're not required to hire them.
Okay. Do you feel pretty confident that you will be able to get the nurses you need from this firm?
I haven't worked with them before, but everything they've said and done has been right so far, so yeah.
I think that's important. I'm not gonna say your volunteers are volunteered out yet, but I think that's a good idea to try to get them a little bit of a break for a week or something, so.
Well, it'd be nice to mix some of these in and have them kind of know the lay of the land and if we can get the same ones back. I don't know how this works, but it's better to have, when it comes to the, you know, and you've been down there as much as probably as any of us, when it comes to this, is the more the better than to have some stations that are closed down because we don't have the nurses and have the lines sitting out there, you know.
Well, it's, with the cost of approximately still $40,000 a clinic, we only have the staff to do 1,000 vaccines. Was Matt talking about now of doing, would you say 2,700 this weekend?
Correct.
I mean, that's getting us to the hopeful endpoint of hosting clinics sooner than later. So, you know, and it's not something that we can decide whether we do it or not. I mean, that's our job to make sure we can do everything we can to get people vaccinated.
Right.
The sooner the better is.
Are one of those opened up for, what is it, 18 and above then?
This Friday is open for 18 and above.
That's this, she started this week, huh?
We started this week.
Okay.
You didn't have any trouble filling that, did you, Matt?
We didn't. We filled it with 2,300. We went back and then we pulled another, we asked the state what they wanted us to do with this 400 we had. They told us to use it. So then we added those 450 more appointments on, and they filled up as well with, we didn't do a press release on it. We posted on Facebook one time, and you know, the demand's still gonna be strong. That's what we really have to gauge everything on, is how fast these clinics fill up. So next Friday, we'll do another prime dose clinic, big one hopefully. It's the state calls us and tells us we got some extra vaccine. The 16th, we're shut out of the MAC that weekend, so there won't be any clinics there. We'll do a clinic on the 14th, then we'll be back there again on the 23rd, 24th, and then through May.
So are you gonna, I don't know, have backups or reserves for this weekend, potentially, for these?
From this
nurses?
agency?
From the nurses, yeah.
They're already working on that, yes, in anticipation that you were gonna approve it. Yep.
I mean, if we don't, where else can you go?
We'll have the staff there.
I mean, it seems like it's the same nurses every time I've been down there pretty much.
Now the reruns, that retired group of nurses has been, I mean, they've been fantastic. Those ladies have powered through some long days.
Yeah,
and even half of our own public health staff are retired nurses that had came back to work just to help us with this, so.
Is that a formalized group that reruns?
Not really. I think it's just a group that gets together, and they used to just get together and have coffee until this whole thing kicked off.
Okay. And then the hospitals, are they?
Methodist has been really great about supplying us nurses. CHI supplied us some nurses as well. All Care has pitched in when they could.
Okay.
So it's really been everybody in the community. You know, my next thought was that we would reach out to the hospice and agencies and see if the school nurses potentially wanted to come in and do some vaccinations. I mean, there's still other groups out there that we could reach out to. I think this will just, we have a number of volunteers and everything coming in. It's nice to be able to just make one phone call and say, I need this many people, sit them down here.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes. Well, thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, thanks. See you all. Hey, Matt, before you leave, did the housing study get sent to all the board members?
It did not. Can we send the link out to everybody?
Don't you think we should all have that and then plan on having some discussion in the future about it?
We can certainly make that happen.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a great product.
Right, but I'm just saying we as a board should probably have time to review. There's a bunch of, you know.
Yeah, I meant to get with you and ask you how you wanted to do it, because, you know, it went out to the cities group, so each city, I'm not an actual member of the cities group, but I attend it, and so each one of those members of the cities groups was taking it back to their councils and things like that to go through it, so I didn't know if you were going to take it to the board and give it to them, or if you want me to give it to the board, but essentially, if you want me to give it to the board and then do a presentation and stuff on it, I certainly can.
Yeah, if you would, I think that'd probably be the best to do it, unless the people are the people that did it, which was, what was the name of the people that did it?
I can't remember their names. It's the same ones who did,
It wasn't Sherwood, right? They didn't Sherwood hired somebody to do it, right?
and we hired the same company. We parlayed off of what Sherwood.
Are they gonna do a formal presentation or not?
I don't know, I can't remember.
Okay, well, if you can get that to everyone, I mean, there's a lot there to digest, so.
Yeah, I'll send it out right now.
The sooner they can start looking at it, I think the better for everybody.
Will do.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, it's a hell of a document, so.
When did you get it?
The city's meeting was last Thursday, I think.
Yeah, it was, yeah, as I called you that day.
Yeah, last Thursday. And Hinkus, sent it out. I didn't know if they were, at that time, it didn't sound like, they were waiting for, different than what Matt said, waiting for everybody in the cities group to review it and then come back to the cities group and do it and then send it out to everybody. So there's so much there, I just think it's better that we get it sooner the better. You know, I haven't even had a chance to go through the whole thing, to be honest with you, so. Janet Limerick, Director of Human Resource, discussion and decision to approve job description for finance officer.
So Melvin and I talked about this job description because there has never been a job description for this position, and we're referring to Becky Belt's previous position. There's never been a job description, and so I felt, you know, anytime we have a significant change in a job description, it comes to the board. And so because it's not a new position, but it's a new job description, I felt that it should come to the board for approval. Now, I think the titles may be a little confusing with our finance and budget director and then having a finance officer. So I don't know if, Melvin, do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, the way I see it coming down is it might be able to, just to change the title to more of a tax, finance, real estate, you know. We'll just have to see how the personnel works out. And
Well,
what
I
the
don't want to change the
capabilities-
title based on a person.
No. Okay.
That's not what you're saying, right?
No.
Okay,
No.
okay,
Just
great.
to see how things work out with Mitch coming on.
Oh, right.
It's just gonna have to be baby steps as we go through this probably a whole year to see
Yeah.
what Becky and Mitch and how things work out. But,
Yeah, exactly, see, how they can
you know,
help each other.
make sure that we're not duplicating,
Right.
duplicating. Mitch is smart enough to know that he's up to his eyeballs already, so we'll make sure you stay afloat.
Yep, that'll be good.
So it's just a matter of working together. And of course, the auditor's office is always, works with every other department anyway, so it won't be
Taking something away from the board.
Do you think there's an opportunity, Mr. Hauser, for Mitch to handle some of the duties that are required in the auditor's office as far as state auditor requirements?
We'll just have to wait and see how that goes. I would like all of the state requirements to come from the auditor's office, but as far as AFRs, annual finance reports, but if Mitch wants to do a CAFR or a PAFR, I think that would probably be something that would benefit the board and the county. especially when you're dealing with Moody's and all. If you had a good CAFR, why, consolidated annual finance report.
You know, I still think those can come from the auditor's office, but Mitch can probably
Possibly, put those together for you and it can come from you.
He could, yeah. We'll just have to wait and see how
Okay,
things work.
I would ask for you to please be open, with this position.
Yeah.
If it can
No, I don't,
take care
I
of some of
think,
the requirements that
your office has as far as reporting to the state.
Yeah.
If that can be done with this position and you not have to hire one,
right.
that's awesome. I mean, at least from this board member,
Right, well, and I don't know how much effort and time it takes to do these reports. You'd have to ask Becky. But, there's much more than that. So we'll have to see what, duties that you're wanting from Mitch and what duties we have to do here. I think
and then what
even,
duties that you believe Mitch can do for you.
or for the board or for the county. I think you guys will have a load for him, and it's gonna take a long time to, get him comfortable with and see what, he needs to do. I think even, years ago, I think Becky and Becky were understaffed, because there were things that the board wanted that they just didn't have time to do. And I think they were, it was kind of bare bones over there. So I think even having, three working within that realm is gonna be a big benefit to you guys. You'll be able to grab what you want. You'll be able to do your capital projects, the open gov thing, which has been sitting idle for how many years, Scott?
So, all right, I don't want to get into that too much. I want to get back to Janet's question about what the title should be. You asked finance officer or finance director. I guess in my opinion, he'd be a director. He's at that department head level.
We're talking about this position? Yes, his title is already established. Yep, good to go. I just want to make sure that if
This one, the one in the auditor's office?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, this is one in the auditor's office. I'm sorry if I didn't make that clear.
Finance officer.
Or you could throw tax in there too, because that's the next big thing on the plate, correct, Becky, is figuring the taxes?
So in a hierarchical sense, is this position going to be, above what
this is a description of what Becky Belt and Donna West and Cheryl Ross did since I've been here, minus the budgeting part. Budgeting was never in the code, but the auditor's office, Marilyn and Cheryl just did it.
Melvin, do you feel that, because Becky's been filling in for a lot of these roles, do you feel that you still need that hierarchy, or do you feel like you could hire someone else into Becky's title and have, 2 FTEs in that job title?
That could be. I think we still need that. I think you probably do need some hierarchy within any division of the auditor's office, whether it's elections or real estate or finance or payroll.
And sometimes that can be challenging when, if you have a department of 2 people.
I
To
know.
have a hierarchy, it's almost, you are that hierarchy, and then what does that look like underneath, which I think is what you're trying to work out.
Yeah,
If you have 2 people,
yeah.
you don't always need that.
What is it? I don't want to approve a position until I know what the structure looks like. What do you want? Are you hiring for someone to replace Becky Belt, or are you hiring someone to replace Becky Lanahan's former position?
Becky Belt. I want to replace that position, and then we have a job description for Becky Lanahan. Then if she fills that Becky Belt's seat, then we'd have to go hire somebody to replace Becky Lanahan's.
well,
So you said if Becky Linehan moves to Becky Bell's seat, then you have to hire somebody for Becky.
Right. I guess it's, and I don't know whether, that's a Janet
Her
question.
job title and job description we have already.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
And
no,
I
but
think even if you had interviews
That doesn't make
for,
some sense, but.
if you had interviews for, hypothetically, if you had interviews for Becky Belt's position, Becky Linehan took it, can you still use some of those same job applicants to interview for Becky Linehan's position?
I would because it would be a different position and a different pay structure, I would repost it, call those people if you liked them to say, we filled position A, but we have position B, are you interested in applying? I wouldn't necessarily just call them and offer them position B, because that's not what they actually applied for.
What's the salary range on this position?
Well, this position doesn't have a salary range. It's always been tied right to your position, Melvin.
Right.
So is this a deputy?
This is not a deputy.
No, it's not a deputy.
So I think we need to establish a pay range for this. You know, I think we've been seeing positions throughout the county that don't have ranges, and it's just here's a dollar amount. So for hiring this, how would we know what to hire? I mean, I could tell you what Becky B made, but there was no salary range. It's a non-union position.
So,
So my recommendation-
My honest opinion, like, we can go circles on this. I think you still have more homework both of you guys need to do, and I don't think we should be voting on this today until you get that done.
Well, I think we need to get somebody in there before,
I think
tax
we can wait
time.
1 week, Melvin. I mean, honestly, you
No,
don't know what
well,
your
it was
salary
supposed to
range
be
is,
on-
and you
it
don't
was
even really
supposed to
know
be
the
on
hire.
last week, but Shannon we didn't get it on last week, and I still question
I'm
why.
I'm just being honest, I'm not gonna issue any department head for that matter, a blank check on a position. You know, I want you to figure out what it should be. You don't know what the salary should be, and you should know that coming to this board meeting. Whether or not it's your fault, or Janet's fault, or Becky, or whoever, I don't care. But at the end of the day, I don't wanna approve something until we know what it is, because then I
Well,
can
I
actually
think the
budget.
salary should be somewhere between, $34 and $38 an hour.
And that's, is that market rate? I mean, compared to what? And we don't know the
Compared to
title.
what?
Jana, what's the Baker Tilly?
One moment, I can tell you.
I would like to put this on a six-month hold to see if Mitch can handle some of those duties. I really firmly believe that Mitch is strong enough that he can handle that. I mean, let's don't race out and just hire somebody because we lost somebody. We hired a budget and finance director for Potawatomi County. I firmly believe that he's talented enough. If we have some cooperation with the auditor, that he can handle some of those duties that were handled in his office. So I am with Justin Schultz 100%. We are nowhere close to putting together a job description for this position, nor are we anywhere close to hiring for this position, in my opinion. That's just my personal opinion, of course.
I'm not, like, you know, just to,
I think I agree with you, Tim.
I'm not I'll be honest, I'm not in favor of 6-month hold on it. I'd be more in favor of getting it closer to the budget year, just so it aligns better with.
Oh, you mean a year, 12 months?
No, 12 months, I'm saying 3 months, whatever.
What do you think, Becky? Do you think you and Mitch could handle putting the taxes together before?
I don't know, there's taxes coming up and there's credits coming up, there's assessor year end. There's the finance year end, there's many facets that need to be done that are coming up very quickly. I don't have the time to train and do this stuff. I mean, I don't mind that, but there's not time to do all of it. I'm one person.
Well, if you put it out there for hire, you're gonna have to
We're gonna have to train that.
train somebody, you know, anyway.
Who's out there, yeah.
Well, you'd have the position posted for a minimum of 10 days.
Okay, Justin, I'm sorry, where you at?
Well, I personally just think we need to get the mechanics of this figured out before you bring it to us. I think right now we got a draft, a super rough draft, and I think it needs to be a final draft.
So
personally, I'd rather you get it figured out and then bring it back to us. That
The-
way,
Sure, the pay definitely still needs to be figured out, but this job description itself has already been vetted by Melvin, Becky, and Becky. So the wording of the job description is what the auditor is saying he needs for this position.
I mean, I'm not arguing that piece.
Okay.
I guess I'm more arguing the fact that we need to know what this position should be getting paid. I
Okay,
think we need to determine, you know, first off, like, just to be very clear, I don't wanna underestimate anything that Mitch Kai brings to the table. Because he comes from the outside, he's a VP from a bank. I can promise you, he's gonna bring a wealth of knowledge that we've never had in this county before. And I think you'll be quite surprised at what he'll be able to do. So I don't wanna sit there and say, oh, well, we gotta train him up. I'm telling you right now that before too long, he's gonna be the person training people. So I think we really need to figure out what his capabilities are. So, I mean, I'm willing to negotiate here, and have conversations back and forth, but I don't think you got a finished product
A
here.
month ago, but we've never had that conversation.
A month ago, we almost eliminated it entirely. So, I mean, I'm telling you, we're here, we're having a conversation, but I'm not comfortable until we know what the salary should be. And I think right now, you know, should Becky Linehan be in that position in the leadership? Should it be a leadership? Should it be the same position? I don't know. And you haven't answered that piece to me yet. And I don't think you know yet. You might have some ideas, but you don't.
Well, I have some ideas, but I can't, you know, you hire a position, see what their capabilities are and move forward.
And I think that's what we've done with Mitch, and I'd like that opportunity. As Justin said, I think he can handle it. I don't think there's a big rush to race and hire somebody for your office, and I just don't. I really don't. I think they can handle it. At least give us some time to look at it and see if it'll work. I mean, gosh, the first thing shouldn't be, oh, gosh, let's hire somebody else.
Who, I mean, the issue kind of is, there's no one other than Becky L, unless I'm missing something, that can do the training no matter who we get. Who else over there can do it?
Who else could do what she does?
Yeah, that she's capable of doing. I mean, she got us through this fiscal budget this year, God bless her. And, you know,
I had some help.
she's got some, stuff on her calendar that needs, I guess, are date sensitive that she needs to get done. We got, a person that we've hired, the board, and would like him to get as much knowledge as he can with helping Becky L and learning Tyler at the same time without being a burdensome on her, I guess. And then figure out what exactly we need. Is it two Becky L's we need, or do you really need someone above her or move her over or what? I guess is kind of the discussion I've been hearing with the board here so far. And I think Mitch is open to being a sponge. I told him yesterday, everything that's wrong is his fault. Everything that's right is the board's.
So he's got broad shoulders, he can carry it.
So, I mean, I don't know.
I think this is a good conversation. I think it's something that we should have. And if there's some training that Mitch needs, we can send him to the state auditor. We can send him to Dallas County. We can send him to Polk County. I mean, we can.
Oh, there's plenty of resources out there, that's for sure, but it just comes down to, you know, getting the work done
And we won't know for a little while. Like
Well, we
you
got
said,
Becky.
Get it going and
Right.
sponge.
We got Becky L,
Absorb everything we
still
need.
working out of, class, right?
we do. When the board had approved that, the discussion was, let's revisit, after the budget is all finished, so it's probably something we should revisit next week.
Well, we can revisit it next week. I think I'm open to just discussing it, but I think we keep her through June 30 and have her work with Mitch, and then we can continue to work on the position and what we really, I mean, we want to get what we really need. And what we really need is redundancy is probably the most critical thing we need. I mean, you could, by the absence of Becky B And having Becky L., if something would happen to Becky L., we don't have any other redundancy. And we need to create redundancy, not just in the auditor's office and position, but almost every position in this county. You know, so I don't.
Well, that's a matter of being able to cross-train some of your employees to handle some of that stuff too, and.
Right.
And then that's something that needs to be looked at as well.
Well, I mean, it's like a train wreck today on this subject. I guess I'm not opposed to there being another position. I'm just more concerned about what that position looks like, you know, and I just think, you got someone working out of class. Would it make more sense, you know, you have to answer these questions for yourself, you know, does it make more sense to keep that person in that out of class position and backfill with something lower, you know, or the assistant type role? Or is there gonna be two finance positions that are basically the same? Or is there gonna be a structure in there? I don't think you have that answer today, and I don't think you know exactly. I mean, you get a ballpark salary, but I just think there's some more homework needs to be done. So I'm not saying, no, we can't do this position. I just think that there's some more information we need before you pitch it to us. And I do think that we need to tap into the resource that we're gonna provide you from the board with obviously Mitch's role. But if you're gonna make me make the decision today, my answer's gonna be no, but I think if we come together and you do some more homework on this, then I think that discussion.
Well, I don't know what it is you want to know, and I'm guessing that after today, or regardless of what happens today, Becky Linehan's still got her hands full going forward. Got the budget behind her, and now she's got a little bit of a break here in April, but then end of the month, she's going to get whacked
I still
again.
have city and school budgets.
Well, she's still got certifications to do.
Townships.
What was, I missed that. What was it, Becky?
There's still all the city budgets to certify, township budgets, most of those are certified. All the school budgets will be coming in first part of April.
That's right, they don't have to do theirs until the end of the,
They got the middle of
And then
April.
we'll start off with, tax billing.
Business property tax credits.
Yep, credits.
The thing that Becky and Becky have always done was.
they might be taking those away from us here after this year, who knows?
Yeah, we'll see what Dan Dawson wants to do. But it's just a matter of, they've always had to bounce that stuff back and forth between each other, just to double check, to make sure everything panned out.
Is there, what I would refer to like a master calendar out there?
The auditor has one, yeah.
You do?
I
can get it for you.
You mean on deadlines and dates and?
Well, that's, I guess,
duties?
following the state, whatever I mean, there's gotta be something that, just like we had to approve ours. I mean, I think that would be helpful.
There's one on base camp, Melvin, I think, that they sent out.
It'd be helpful for Mitch to have that, and then that somewhat helps with some priorities and start.
Yeah, are you talking about the one that Amanda and Grant worked on?
You follow?
That might be it.
Yeah.
But it has some dates and deadlines
Yeah.
it's the whole auditor, but we can.
Where the
Yeah, I
crunch months
printed
are.
that out.
and where the-
Well, it'd be good to have that in like Outlook, it just
Right.
populates for, you know,
Okay, so I'm hearing you want to table this, or what do you folks wanted?
personally, my recommendation is you go back and figure out the salary and figure out your structure, your hierarchical structure before you bring it back. That's my personal opinion, but you guys, I mean, on the board, I don't have a majority on this.
It's the board's decision.
You know.
I think we got a little work to do. That's what I feel.
I know we
In
do.
a little time, we'll know
He's gonna
how
have
things
more
work.
work too besides her.
Yeah, I think that budget, finance, tax thing has probably been, three-man job, you know, even for years, would you, say, Becky?
Three-person.
A three-person,
Yeah,
three-person,
single drive.
Yeah.
you know. I think they've been running bare bones, I think it's kind of run them to death, and I think she's getting run to death here.
While we're working through these pieces, and Melvin, we can meet this afternoon even if you want to, but while we're working with these pieces, let's take advantage of the help that we have from Mitch.
Right.
Becky, I don't know if you want to set up some training times with him or just sit down and talk with him, or if you want me to set
Well,
something
I think we
up.
start this afternoon and.
Go for, yeah, I think Mitch has some time in his calendar this afternoon. Yeah, so definitely, I mean, I hear you, yes, you need help, well, we've got someone already here, so let's take advantage of that
See what
too,
you
while
can
we're
do.
working through these
Okay.
other pieces.
We need to find the knowledge before we can guide the rest of it. Mitch, what do you think? Jump in both feet first?
Yep, absolutely.
All right.
That's the plan, so.
Becky, you good with that?
Sure.
You wanna,
I think we
you wanna,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
no, we gotta
table this.
table this or do something.
I'd like to just table this until, I'll give Jana I wanna say, when Jana's ready to bring it back, I think we'll be ready to go. I think she understands our intent, so if you don't,
What kind of timeline you thinking?
I don't know, I need to have some conversations with Melvin further about what he's thinking about for his department, so.
Well, you guys are welcome to come in and, you know, get a little more detail of what
Okay.
I'm looking at and thinking about. And,
yeah, I think we should. Honestly, I think we
I
should.
do.
so, yeah, stop in anytime.
Do we need a vote on the table?
No, just,
It says discussion and or decision, so
Okay,
we
we
discussed
just
it.
discussed it.
We're gonna bring it back then? Is that what
Yes,
you're
I'll
gonna
put
do?
it back on the agenda.
I'll move to adjourn.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Motion to adjourn by Supervisor Wickman, second by Supervisor Shea. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Hearing none, motion passes. We're adjourned.
Thank you. Keep us informed, you guys. Thanks, Leanne.
Justin?